Okay, so the reason that this is before you right now, who we would subpoena from Google, is because we're going to do a quick rehashing of everything. So it all started when my son, basically, they've been persecuting us since we got here. This town, Tenhaken, when I spoke up during COVID, they were very bitter for that. I spoke out loudly and often against the mask, against everything, and in their superstitious minds or whatever. And they're trying to use this whole thing like, we're so important, why would we care about you? We can find that all out in court, right? Tracy Jan, Jason Jan, some connections there to Kristi Noem and certain things. When we get everyone to confess with their hand on the Bible, you notice that Trump didn't swear on the Bible this term. His Satan wife was holding the black book that I think that they strike out names. They claim they can strike out names from the book of life, but they can't. See, that's the lie about it. You can't sell something you don't own. So you hear that, everyone? That being said, so because of all this, we've been persecuted. My son kind of hit ahead when my son, whose name is Elijah, was born on 9/23. Me and him were writing Jesus in chalk on things, on the sidewalk, on the side of the building. Now, on the side of the building is where they had a problem because we wrote it on their brick. But it's not vandalism because it can be erased and washed off. And give me a break, it's a child. How obvious. And then they bring us to court now. And in the court papers, it says that we're writing Jesus inside of our apartment. Per the Bible, we're supposed to write it on the doorpost. We're supposed to write, go read it. So literally it's become one of these things. And we also had some guys with their little central casting theater show, some guys dressed like Hasidic Jews, which I think was a fallen angel costume, show up with one of these old like studio cameras and record the opposite building, probably in some superstitious, we're going to make it reverse and backfire. But as soon as I walked out with the camera, they ran so fast, you had never seen some guys move so quick. And they looked very well fed, like they've been eating off of everyone else's dime for a long time. That's not a stereotype. They looked really well fed. And I don't imagine with what they were doing here, they're into anything good. They're clearly into sorcery. And that's what, when the Hasmonean priesthood came in, Jesus was dealing with fallen angel Pharisees, Tuatha De Danann, and the Abyssinian cults, everyone. Why do you think Ethiopia was able to form a 1 million man army? That kind of organization, could you even do that today? Think about it. Just because this stuff is spiritual. These things were, I'm not sure who that was in that army, but that had to be one of the most scary looking armies to fit, and God took them all out. Took it out. So it's same with Assyria when they came. The angel killed 185,000 in a night. See, just one is more powerful than all of them, but we far outnumber them too. So remember that when Elisha was with his servant and God opened his eyes and he could see all that were with him. And whoa. So remember that everything is being watched. Okay? And so that's what I'm saying to these people too. So now, coming back to this. So the persecution comes with Section 8 colluding with this girl, Heather. They were literally hiding our rent payments and then saying we didn't do it. Just because I think they were doing the sorcery stuff. Trying to work us up, trying to, and they do it to all of us. It is the wickedness. This is when God says they will make merchandise of you. Interesting he chose that term, and you see Revelation 18. Right? So, but I would tell everyone that's read Ezekiel 29. Read the parts where God offers mercy to the Gentile nations. Focus on how Jesus interacted with the Gentiles he met and how they had faith. Eyes to see but cannot see. Perhaps they could see and see. Think about it. Think of how tremendous their faith was. Right? I don't have faith like that. I want it, but I don't have that kind of faith that they had where maybe, I don't want to do that, but you see, that's where we shouldn't quantify too much, because when we start quantifying and doing, it just leads to competitive or comparing, maybe not competitiveness, but I don't really want to head down that road, so I apologize. Again, my bad. So, taking it down though. So, Lineweaver colludes with Section 8, and then these emails that we had all the proof on turn up missing. First, her account goes down to B, I won't say it now, but it's B, starts with a B, 914. I'll leave the middle of art. And then mine has just recently started malfunctioning where I can't get into it. And it's like logged me out, and it doesn't have my Revival or Riot. And so something funky's going on here. Now, we have all the emails anyways. Nothing ever gets lost. But they're trying, like something. So at court now, we're going to bring all these people in. We're going to use the power of subpoena, and we're going to start back at John Heinrichs. Why he put a warrant on a woman, my wife, at the behest of Jason Jan and Tracy Jan, taking a civil thing and making it criminal. And why we had a cop call us saying that our leaking bathtub, because we know about it, went from a civil thing to a criminal matter. What's the deal here? Why is it, and why are they all doing this at this behest of this optometrist? And so these are the things we're going to talk about. And maybe I got some things off, and hey, I'll learn. But I guarantee you, they don't want this smoke. And it's coming. Because you're doing this to us, you're doing it to all God's children. And it stops. This is where God has completely turned the tables on them. Jesus, what he did when he flipped the tables with the money changers. Remember, money is the substance of their sorcery. That was a supernatural act he did. You would think when he was destroying, like, you go do that in a bank, they'd have 10 guys on you. No one was touching him. They knew. And how mad he was, and what it saw. I think they're still terrified of that to this day. Because remember, Matthew 16, many standing there will be here at his return. That was talking about the fallen angels, in my opinion. We keep coming back to that. He was talking to a large crowd because they like to hide themselves. And I, for my God, like to show where they're standing. Because it's wicked how they hide themselves. And they think they're so clever. We go hide in the plains, South Dakota, North Dakota. And we'll hide in plain sight. And we'll hide on the airplanes. And at some point, do you see, they actually believe this stuff. And they do wicked to maintain that bad faith. So, all these things, I don't know how God will bring them out, but they're coming out. And Tizdak, which is a Kabbalah name, wants to work on behest of the Sioux Falls Police. Judge Leideke, Wade Warnchez, everyone. Oh, and Wade Warnchez got fired. And he was the one that signed off on an eviction we had from Victoria Estates that was signed on a false lease. It wasn't a true lease, and that we had just gotten the PPP loan. So I think these superstitious goons thought that, oh, PPP looks like BBB means 666, so we have to put a line in front of them, and it's their bad faith. They're wrong. This stuff, and I think they only made it look like it worked from the top down. That's why Rome needs so much power. They use their muscle to make it seem like things were, because look at their little chintzy miracles. A tear out of a statue's eye. Okay, whatever. Or a statue turns at night. Magnetics. Actually, not that, like, they work with the scraps because they're wicked. They're completely turned against God. Betrayers of heaven. Betrayers of the Almighty. Treason on the highest level possible. And they've launched smear campaigns for the last 5,000, 6,000 years. I mean, turned it up even after Jesus came with what they do with the Catholic beast. And make no mistake, that's not the harlot, that is the beast. So we got a lot done in this one, teaching and addressing these things. I'll do some more of these to let you guys know. And yes, please pray for us. Please pray that all these things are turned against the enemy. And I make that thing. Because maybe I'm sure that is my pride, that I don't ask for prayer. I probably veil it in my own mind as, I don't want to bother them. But it's pride. And so I apologize to that for anyone. I need prayer. My family needs prayer. And I should ask for it more. But I think with the whole censorship thing, not to make excuses, getting me wondering who was listening and all that was kind of a way to get me to stop asking. But that was a lack of faith on my part. It's no one else's fault. It's my sin, my lack of faith that I'm forgiven for. And that Jesus, because of what he did, Father takes it and puts it as far as the east is from west, just as he does for you. And he uses it against the enemy now too. Now all they've done is built up anger against themselves with no payoff. Isn't Jesus the most brilliant? Isn't the Holy Spirit just whomping them? And I think it's interesting they have malls that spell walls. And you got Trump with this Back to the Future little scene at the Pines. Some kind of alchemical thing going on there. I don't know. But either way, they think they're pretty smart. But if they're so smart, why are you doing this? And again, why is Trump doing these things, saying like the Antichrist Trump, saying like, oh, we got 1,000% increases? Because they believe in that secret stuff, like dream boards and stuff. So now God has him making an absolute fool of himself on public discourse. How many people has he made to look like and reduced down to nothing? You know, Diddy liked to throw his parties most at Trump Tower. Why is that? Sorcery. I mean, you should just go do forensics at his place, FBI. That'd be the day you could end this thing for you wouldn't have to bend a knee to him anymore if you just go do forensics and get him red-handed. You know it's all over the place. He's still doing it now.